Maharishi Mahesh Yogi was once asked, "How many followers do you have?" And he replied, "None. Everyone follows his own progress." This evening we'll look at some of the unique scientific research validating the mental, physical, and social benefits that TM offers. Perhaps you or someone you know has started TM in the past. Today, despite amazing technological developments, people still feel stressed out, and many people are deeply suffering. Our economy has not been able to provide even the most basic necessities of life to the less fortunate. And even those of some means are finding themselves stretched to the breaking point. There's a common saying we only use about 10% of our mental potential. Imagine being restricted like this, only using a small part of what's available to you. Creative people are always looking for ways to become more creative because you have to be more creative to succeed. This next thing illustrates a brainwave tracing on the left side, normal waking state, on the right side during the TM technique. There's a thing called coherence. You can see the waves lining up. And these patterns of coherence have been highly correlated with creativity and greater problem-solving ability. Contained in the ability to run is the ability to walk. And if you can walk, you can stand. So if we can think many thoughts, then we can reduce our mental process and come back to the source of thought. And this source of thought is an unlimited field of energy and intelligence, because we never run out of thoughts. Distress, as defined by Hans Selye, MD, the father of the medical term stress, takes its toll on our bodies in rather predictable ways. According to Selye, it doesn't matter whether the distress is a worry, a fear, or an actual physical condition. The body reacts the same. And since the mind and the body are infinitely connected, when the mind settles down, the body follows suit. This creates a state of what they call restful alertness. It's like the pulling back of an arrow on a bow. And the further we can pull it back, the more dynamic our action can be when we come out of meditation. We don't meditate for meditation for coming out. We meditate for that. Here's an example of reduction of blood pressure study. High blood pressure medicine, especially in high doses, is debilitating and has terrible side effects. But is there an option? This study, after 16 weeks, there was a significant reduction in systolic blood pressure by contrast with the education and the other control group. Many drugs have temporary ability to reduce anxiety and depression. However, they often have unwanted side effects. These studies suggest that the practice of TM technique increases serotonin, the feel-good chemical, while reducing cortisol levels, the stress hormone. This way, TM acts as an antidote. Now we're all connected. Just as TV, cell phone devices are connected in the electromagnetic field, we are connected to a field of consciousness. If you come into a room where it's been an argument, you can feel it. Come into a room where people are happy, you can feel that too. TM enlivens that field of consciousness. In 1984, I had the opportunity to work with the Vermont TM Prison Project. There I saw how simple mental technique could provide some real rehabilitation to those behind bars. One inmate commented to me that since starting TM, he no longer felt like killing his mother. Starting in 2010, my wife and I participated in a David Lynch-funded project for family caregivers of chronically ill family members. In an earlier control study published in the Journal of the AMA, it was found that 63% of family caregivers died before their chronically ill family member. One of the 4 measures used by AMA's doctor-patient questionnaire was used, and here we see that after two months of meditating, that the caregivers had felt their physical situation much better, increased physical health. Now, the groups we had were in Florida, Connecticut, Iowa, and Texas. And prior to their instruction, all caregivers filled out these questionnaires. And later on, after 2 months of meditating, they filled out these same questionnaires. I looked at some where they were in total agreement. This is one where they're in agreement. They also reported of self-stress. Since we're all probably going to be informal caregivers sometimes in our life, and caring for a chronically ill friend or relative, that can be very rewarding. But if you don't get a break from that, it can be extremely stressful. Here we see decreased stress that the caregivers experience after practicing TM for 20 minutes twice a day. Now, all Austin caregivers initially reported to feeling overwhelmed. And the perceived psychological stress scale is defined as the extent to which the ability to cope is exceeded by the demands. People feel less frustrated. They felt overwhelmed initially, and after a couple months, they no longer felt overwhelmed. Someone commented, I feel calmer, have more patience, I can focus better, and I feel more in control of my situation. One of the traps about depression is that if you're really depressed, it's hard to do anything to get yourself out of it. Here from the profile of mood states, echoing this, was the comment, I feel peaceful, I can laugh at things my husband does or says, and I have more energy. Another area of agreement amongst the Austin caregivers was their increased feeling of peace. One lady commented, I find meditation, especially in the afternoon, deeply relaxing and satisfying. When I'm able to do it twice a day, I know it helps center me and gives me more ability to do my exercises and eat more nutritionally well. And finally, reduceful forgetfulness. The added stress of being a family caregiver can really do a number on your short-term memory. With TM, the possibility now exists that the daily lives of family caregivers can be more integrated and amid the deep challenges they face. And for more info, you can go to tm.org, and there's more information there than you shake a stick at. Thank you.